So today we're going to do part three of my Go framework thing. So just to kind of like introduce what it even is and what happens since, because in between part two and now, I actually did a lot of work on it. So let me start from what I'm actually doing. um, I don't have the kind of like the examples in README yet, but I can show it here. The idea is that I can create a page which is div with ID root that has a div that has or like has a nav and then it has a div and all that stuff. So like this our remote address is like the IP from the client. So this is definitely kind of like information that you can only have on the server, right? So all of this is a Go code that generates a page. And then I can go to that page and look at it. But the funny part is that when I click on stuff, I'm getting like a new page. But as we said, like this information can only go from the server. So what in the essence I'm doing is React server components, but with the Go backend. And this this is just like a fun experiment after some of the stuff that I did with React Server Components. I wanted to try it out on like a different backends. And so what I did since part two is that I implemented the actual kind of like JSX looking thing. It's not actually JSX, right? It's like a more like hyperscript. But at least you can you can kind of write it, and it just has kind of like two modes. So if um how to make it bigger. So if I'm getting special header, it will return just the JSON data. So this is what happens when I go between pages. So if I click on like home, this is the request that I'm doing, and this request has RSC1 somewhere. Where is it? Yeah, RSC1, and the this is the JSON that it responds, and it basically it doesn't return the whole page yet. This is probably the first thing that I'm going to do. I want to update title as well, um, but it returns this basically kind of like virtual DOM or whatever, and I can render it on the page. And if I don't have that special header, I will use that JSON data to pass it for like a hydration script, but I will also render that component to HTML as well. So we do server-side rendering for the page, but we also provide with like React component that can render the same page. Um, so yeah, I was playing I was playing with all that stuff, and the idea is that Go is basically going to be like much more performant. I'm hoping to get to like at least like 10x speed over Next.js. It doesn't seem like it's going to be like too hard, but yeah, just to show like, hey, if your app is not that involved, it doesn't require like too much third-party libraries, I guess. Yeah, you can just generate it in Go and still use React in this kind of like um, you could yeah. So I could have done all of this as islands instead of React Server components, and that one doesn't seem like as crazy, I guess. Uh, but yeah, maybe that could be something that I try in the future. But for now, the idea is that you generate this stuff and you can still use React and client components. So I haven't implemented client components yet. So this is probably something that I'm going to do today. And I need to figure out how to do like JavaScript. Right now, we only have one static file and it's not like built, so it doesn't. Hmm, I think this is a bug. Is it? Yeah, I think this should have been removed. It's like it's importing itself. Um, but yeah, right now we're like getting React from CDN with like a dirt version and all that stuff, which is like really slow. So we definitely need to like optimize that. But it doesn't matter for like the server performance that I was going for. Okay, sorry, I missed the chat. Yeah, yeah, we were talking about portable monitors in the kind of like pre-stream. Okay, so one of the things that happened is that I removed this thing into Strike, and like I just wanted to explain the how the naming happened. I was looking at this tweet by Theo about like tier list, and I was like, oh, should I name my framework Marquee, which is like that's super. I don't know. Everyone likes that tag, right? And I was just like looking at all of those tags and thinking how it applies to myself. So should it be sub? Should it be something else? And I don't remember like the order in which all of this happened, but I was looking at all of those tags and I kind of like noticed strike, and I was just like, "Is strike even like a thing? Like I should look for it." And yeah, it's like a deprecated. So it is a thing, and it isn't a thing at the same time. So I found this funny and decided to decided to go with strike. I still have no idea how to kind of like organize everything in Go. Uh, because I started with that Melky video, he's like, "Oh, you should use this structure," and like none of the packages that I was clicking around were using this structure. So I'm still like not sure his he actually gave like a really uh, widely applicable advice, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out. I also figuring out deployment. So I tried some other servers that I wanted to that had like a edge go. So I was like, oh, this is going to be like super fast. Um, and I ended up going with Fly, which Fly is like not the. It doesn't seem like it's the fastest one. So if I run HTTP stat, uh, yeah, yeah, so it's like 100 milliseconds on like gigabit network, right? So uh, yeah, I'm not sure how kind of like cool that is. Um, but yeah, I think I figured it out. Then I broke it at some point. So and I don't want to do all of this stuff on stream because it's really boring. You just like wait 2 minutes until it like builds or doesn't build. So this is something that I will try to kind of like do on my own time. Okay, so I explained the name. I showed that I deployed it. I explained a bit how it works. Uh, I'm going to play a bit with benchmarking it and stuff, but first order of business is we need to make sure that uh, our HTML stuff actually works. I was really confused how to do everything kind of like safe. So the question is like, if I have this ID, can I just like put a script tag here, right? And it's like, is that going to be, is that going to be executable? Um, okay, so go here and let me look at that ID. Okay, so it's ID root here, but if I go here, interesting. Because Go has some kind of thing. Okay. I'm not sure if it even works. Does it work? Maybe it doesn't compile? No, it looks like it compiles. Or maybe it doesn't. Package main is not std. Okay. Yes, where did you get this package? Oh, go build. Okay, so it's strike now. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, yeah, so this is better. Yeah, so I wrote some stuff and it doesn't look like it broke. It's, I mean, it broke something. Yeah, so yeah, so it's like ID space, all that stuff, right? So space should have been escaped somehow. So I haven't figured out all of the like proper escaping rules, and I'm not going to for now. But this is definitely something that I need to fix. So if I put it here, what is it? What does it do? So ID is root, all that stuff. Yeah. So this looks better. Yeah, we will figure it out eventually. Um, so so the first order of business is uh, I have uh, I'm using create root right now instead of hydrate root. So this is definitely something that I want to fix. Uh, so if we go here, oh yeah, one other thing. So when I was trying to deploy stuff, it couldn't serve static files, and I don't know what that means. So I had to use this thing that can compile static files inside of the binary, and yeah, it wasn't like easy or well documented as I would hoped, but it worked out in the end. But yeah, the idea is that this file is actually kind of like built in into binary, so it can show it. There is in Fly, there's like a Fly specific thing that allows you to show kind of like, hey, this is like a static folder, and like none of that stuff works. And again, like it requires like 5 minutes for you to like check if it works. So yeah, it wasn't a fun time. Yeah, so we have this client thing. So it's like now it's crashing, and so it's crashing because we need to hydrate root. And hydrate root, what's the syntax? DOM node and then React node. Okay, so uh, yeah, so page, and I think it returns root. Yeah, so I don't know why they did separate APIs for create root and hydrate root. But yeah, okay, let's do that. And okay, so we have some hydration warnings. Okay, expect that server HTML to contain a matching div in body. Failed because does not match something something from the server. Okay, so where do we do stuff? We do it in body. So how does it look in body right now? So body has, yeah. I wonder if this is the time where all the like spaces start to matter. Yeah, but we'll figure it out soon enough. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Yeah, so let's the page that we return. let's return a simple page as possible. So let's say that page is h that has main tag, and that's it. Okay, so expect the server HTML to contain a matching main in body. So what do we have in body right now? We have main. So if I move this script around and I put it, I don't know, like outside of the body, and I remove all the spaces. Okay, so it did work. So the spaces were the problem. So if I remove main, and if I do this, it hydrates and it works. Okay, so the spaces were the problem. So what about script tag? So if I put script tag back in the body, still works. And now the question is, I want to put everything. So I will start with the body tag itself. So let's say that page has an H body and the page before it. Yeah, which is like really really mutable out of me, but yeah, I wonder if it's okay, still works. To have okay. I'm confused. Did it really work or yeah, so body one, two, three. Okay. Uh so let's say that it worked. Now the interesting part is is the script tag. So right now it works. But when I hydrate, it's still there. Okay. So now let's try HTML that has a body. Okay. Extra attributes from the server. Okay. So and yeah. So now because we return like HTML inside of HTML, I I'm thinking that I need to like remove everything. Yeah, so and I need to figure out what to do with script tag. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to do it. I could just start with this and just remove this because that actually should work because that's how like streaming works. You send scripts um, after the body. So I have HTML body div all that stuff, and it ends with HTML, and then we have a script. So should kind of work. So now when I'm hydrating stuff, I don't do document body, I just do document. Okay, so have some warnings. Extra attributes from the server. Okay, so I wonder if that's because we're hydrating too late and some plugin basically kind of like messes with our stuff because it works here, right? So we have HTML with body and all that stuff, and even script module works. Yeah, but maybe maybe that hydration script should be running earlier. Let's just go and see when those scripts usually run. So where's the first script? Yeah, so this is a script. Yeah, and doesn't use type module, which might be because we're running later. We're running like more synchronously. Yeah, and it's also like inside of the body, so maybe we should start with that. Uh, but yeah, it kind of works. We just need to work on kind of like smaller details. Uh, yeah, so let's figure out that script. So if that script would have been, oh yeah, the title. I also need the title. So I have this body, and if I have a head, and that head would have a title, and the title would be, where's our previous title? Yeah, it was just title. Okay, title. Um, so that's the end of our head. We refresh, and we have a title. And um, so let's say that it's title plus URL. Title about. Oh, interesting. Didn't change. It didn't change the title when we moved around. Huh. Interesting. So root render. Hmm. Yeah, I wonder what that is. Okay. So yeah, I wonder if that's because of our warnings. So if we go here, no, it doesn't change it either. Hmm. Why wouldn't it change? So we have HTML, add title. Yeah. So it should change. Title about. Yeah, so it changes this, but not a title. Hmm. This is concerning, but let's ignore it for now. We have HTML, and that HTML, I guess it could have uh, props. Okay, I was expecting. I was expecting Copilot to write that, but it didn't. Okay, yeah, so we could pass parameter here. Hmm, why is the title not changing? This is so confusing. Yeah, this is going to be driving me a bit insane. But okay. So we have a head, we have a title, we have body, and it kind of sort of works. We still have all of those warnings. So the first thing that I want to try is I want to make sure that we don't have that script. So if I just remove the script, uh, we don't have our thing anymore. right? Our client side navigation. Uh, so I need to bring this back. So where is my body? Okay, so this is the first part of the body, and the next one is going to be a script. And if that script has just console log 123, it should actually work. Yep. So now how do I put all of this into that? So yeah, so the first thing is how do I serialize JSON? And I guess how do I how do I import from client as well, right? So if I just put import from client there, not going to fly. So import type module sync. Yeah, this is Node.js. Okay, so uh, script tag, I guess, script tag. Okay. Uh, hmm. Yeah, so the first thing is that we can set props type module. Okay, I expected this thing. So what's the unexpected thing? Okay, import. Oh, interesting. Okay. And how do I? I need some kind of like dangerously sad. I need some kind of dangerously sad thing. Um, hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So I can also do this. I can say that script. I have a script that has a source, and that source is client.js, and that could be enough. I don't know why I wanna put a comma there. Okay, so cannot use import statements outside of the module. Okay, and so it still needs type module. Yes. So presumably I'm here right now. And presumably if I console log, I think my copilot has died. Yes. So I'm here. So now what I'm missing is uh, I'm missing hydration JSON, and I can't probably do that without. Hmm. Yeah. So let's say I have a template, One, two, three. Okay, so it worked. So now can I send JSON data, which is this one? No, this one. Can I send this? Not marshaled yet. Okay, wait. This is so confusing. Uh, yeah, this can't be. Hmm. This is the thing that contains the thing. So I can't do that. Okay. Yeah, but how does this thing work? So so I have this text, right? Like uploads for, and we see it in HTML once, and then we see it in all of this thing. And so how do we get this? So where's the body tag? Yeah, so it's here. So all of this stuff is inside. Yeah. So those are scripts. So those are scripts that are added to HTML before rendering stuff. Uh, so this is stuff that we okay, so this is data for this template, and this template is using this. So here, hmm, how do I, how can I change HTML tag if this is happening inside? Okay, this is much more confusing than that I signed up for. But yeah, so I can just say that it's a template and it has JSON data. Okay, okay, okay. So it doesn't show any hydration warnings yet, because we didn't rewrite client script yet. Um, so what is script client to do here? So uh, can I get template? Uh, so it's going to be data. I mean, Go templating is actually like pretty fancy. So if I write this as script, so it turned everything into a string. I don't have to JSON stringify it, but I need to parse it, I guess. So now if I say that, okay, how does the hydration happens here? Yeah, so yeah, so this. So RSC is this. I don't know why I need to push this. I guess, yeah, probably enough to do this. So if I did this, and then if I do RSC dot push, okay, we lost some, we lost some parentheses. Okay, so turn those thing into a string. So I have this RSC string, and I need to JSON parse it. Yes, this one doesn't parse, but it sends everything as a string, I guess. It's array of strings. Yeah, I wonder if that allows them to parse later. To unblock this somehow. Yeah. Okay. So let's not parse it yet. Okay. So we have this. Now, do I have this value inside the script? That's the fun question. Okay, I do. So if I do, uh, the thing that we were doing before was render page JSON parse. So if I do render page JSON parse first item. Okay, so extra attributes from server. Yeah, so this is our ESM stuff kicking in. How do I not kick it in? Okay, so does it actually work? Okay, it does for everything except for title. I wonder why title is not working. Seems like a funny issue. But I guess this part works, so that's already a win. So yeah, so let's say that this is kind of like as good as it's going to get. Yeah, so we're going to get warnings in def, not in def, warnings um, if I have some kind of like extensions. So here we don't have warnings, but title still doesn't work. Okay, not ideal, but we can leave it at for now. And let's figure out how to commit all this stuff. Okay, so we have this. anywhere else now. um, oh, oops. Okay. Oops. Forgot to change binary. Project name in air double. Oh, I think I know why my compile doesn't work. I think I forgot to pay for it. This is like Stone Age coding. Okay, so let's clean this out. So, so we managed to make everything work except for. Okay, so those are the things that were added on head and on HTML, I guess. Yeah, because we're calling hydration too late. It doesn't pick up. Why are we calling hydration too late? That's an interesting question. Hydrate root. Okay, so this is React. And this is start transition heading. Oh yeah, actually need to start hydration transition probably. And yeah, so this script is async. There was this tweet. Yeah, this was this tweet about like not blocking execution. So if I have type module, yeah. So the regular one, because this is like the regular script, right? No, it is a sync script. So script async, script async. Okay, so all of them are async, which is this one. And if I add async to this one, sync. Okay, this is funny. So if I remove async, I get error on the head. If I add async, I get error on HTML. Oh, so it still runs too late. Okay. Like all of those dependencies should be like already cached or something. I wonder why it's not working. Yeah. Okay. So let's uh, let's figure out how we can name stuff. So this could be body. Yeah, and there are no warnings here. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So here is uh put more stuff into yeah, use hydrate root and make the whole page generated with h function. For some reason, changing title doesn't work. AC hydration occurs in uh, caused by Chrome extensions. Okay. This is our stuff so far. So what do we do now? We Yeah, I guess we can run some benchmarks. Uh, the port is 333. Okay, so request per second is 17,000. If I go and remove logger, remove logger middleware, it should be a bit faster. Okay, 20,000. Okay, uh, 20,000. Okay, 20,000 is not that great. Uh, I don't know. I don't know how we can test it though. So, how fast does it return JSON? Okay, not extremely fast. So, and if I do have more elements, yeah, it makes it much slower. Okay. Yes, we're definitely turning. So it seems like our H function is probably what is slow right now. It's still faster than next.js, of course, but we might look into optimizing that stuff. Okay. So let's do return the string back. Yeah, we also need to return logger. Okay. Okay. Uh, it doesn't actually look that different with logger and without logger. Yeah, which is a pretty bad sign. Okay. And yeah, also this latency is not great. Okay. So we have all of this stuff. So now, what are we missing? So this thing with hydration is going to drive me mad. Uh, can we? Yeah, I wonder if that's just because of if it's just because we're using we're like importing everything. So let's try to build client script into kind of some kind of like yeah, let's bundle the client script and let's just see if that changes anything. uh, yeah, and I wonder if there's like a bigger issue here. um, okay, so let's say using React from CDN causes iteration errors. Yeah, I wonder how many frameworks, how many SSR frameworks use React from CDN, right? Yeah, this is not going to be helpful. So let's figure out Golang bundle JS. So embed. Okay. Let's turn it a bit more into ES build direction. Uh, okay, so we have ES build, of course, and how do I use it from Go? So I can, okay, okay, entry point, output, bundle, right? Okay, so seems manageable. So I have this file that I can transform, and I add loader JSX. Hmm, okay, okay, and we have TSX as well, which just like all I all I care. Um, so one big piece that is missing right now is client components, and I wonder if I should learn how to use ES build before doing that or not. So we will start with simple things. So we will copy this. Um, yeah, I guess it's like task.go, and I will just put it here. What is going on? Oh, my subscription ended. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I was talking about. Go run this. So not no required module provides package. Add it. Okay, that's fine. Go get. So I did this, and we have some errors, or don't we? Yeah, I think it works. So we did transform, which is using the old transform, by the way. Uh, Okay, so it's using. Okay, this is like too confusing to fix that right now. So we are doing transform, and this is the loader. Uh, but what about bundle? Okay, so bundle is a flag. It's a flag on. Yeah, so it's a different API. It's a build API instead of transform API. Okay, end to end build and transform, minify, convert. Okay, but takes array files and packages them with all of their dependencies and returns the output. Roughly case pointing. Okay. Okay, so let's try this one as student go. Okay, so go run test 2. Could not resolve input JS. Okay, so I can go and copy my client, I guess. I think that like the best feeling about using Go compared to JavaScript is that I can use find because there's so little files in Go compared to compared to JavaScript and like node packages. Uh, yeah, this is crazy. Okay, so I'll call it input.js. So I now run it. Okay, the output is 3 kilobytes. Okay, so it's still okay. 2 ESM require. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. Um, yeah. So let's say that this is React DOM and this is React. Let's build it again. It's 3 kilobytes again. Okay, so and let's say that yeah, the bundle is true. Hmm. But does it bundle anything? Okay, so where do we get require? It requires a proxy. Okay. Uh, yeah. Hmm. I'm not sure what we're doing here. Yeah, so what I want to do is how what is fresh is written in? How did they do it? Yeah, it's all in JavaScript. It's running Dino, but as far as I remember, they use ES build somewhere. Okay. Okay. So ES build. Okay. Entry points config JSX config. Okay. So they have builder. They have builder build. Okay. Uh, yeah. So do I have ES build installed? No, I don't. Okay. I guess Golang ES build bundle dependencies. Okay. Found an example plugin that lets you do resolving imports. Okay. Okay, on resolve, download. Okay. This plugin uses resolver. Then a loader downloads. Yeah, so I guess we need some kind of loader. So we have CSX, CSS, JSON file, default, data URL, copy, binary none. Okay. Yeah. So what are our loaders right now? Do they explain what they do? No. Why would they? Okay. Given input file is interpreted. For example, JS loader interprets CSS, all that stuff. Configuring a loader for a given file type lets you load that file type with import statements. For example, requiring PNG, all of that stuff. Okay, yeah. I don't know if that, like, any of this stuff is going to help us. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. I'm actually kind of stuck. I'm not sure what we're doing here. What are we doing here? Is this real? Yeah, so we could. Okay, so I propose we give up on this for now, and let's focus on client components instead for now. So what is client component? So client component is uh, hmm, what is the best way to do client component? I guess if I just create something like counter.js and okay, so I'm going to say that console log counter, and I go here, and in our client.js I'm going to yeah, I'm going to import uh, client not client, counter.js. So it's a 404 right now because we need to go to routes and add counter.js. Okay, so counter is going to work, but it's going to send the wrong file. That's because our static handler needs to send different file or different requests. So I guess one way of figuring this out, if we just print URL, yeah, I wonder if that's going to help. So once we require the client, and the other time we require the counter. So if here I will do plus URL, will that work? No, static plus URL. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what. Can I do string it or something? Huh. Okay, so we see our counter. Great. I'm not sure if this is the best way of doing it. So URL probably has the path. I don't know where the difference between the raw path is. Okay, I'll say path. Encoded path can't see escape path. Just escape. It generates multiple possible escape formats. Escape path. Palette for escaping. Okay, I don't know what's that all about. But let's say, yeah. So we have a counter. Uh, yeah, it's also interesting that it shows up before the warning. So if we move it later, yeah, I just I just don't know how much that affects anything. But yeah, so let's say we have a counter. So that counter could be export function counter that doesn't take anything, but it has sub count, set count. This is where Copilot would have helped. Then it's React use state 0, and then we return JSX button, and that button has on click that is going to uh, increase the counter, and it also it's going to say count plus count. Okay, so now let's say that I import that counter from this counter, and I, yeah, instead of page, I just say that a page is JSX of counter. Okay, so it seems like it didn't work. Not sure why. Cannot convert undefined or null to object. What does that even mean? uh, So yeah, so I have this function, and let's say that counter just returns hello. Okay, so we have JSX that is just div hello. Okay, interesting. I wonder if that's because of the hydrate root. So let's get rid of this stuff. Okay, so hydrate root works. Now let's just set them out and say root render tsx div nil. Oh yeah, I forgot this. I think. Hello. Okay, I think I'm missing some syntax. Okay, okay, so cannot convert undefined to an object. Okay, am I using JSX wrong? I already forgot how to use JSX. Uh, okay, can it render just hello? Okay, it can't, but yeah, because it's a dumb thing. It re-renders the whole thing. Well, okay, this is still a better error message though. So if I do JSX now, so JSX is tag name props. Oh, I see. So the tag name is dev and the children is hello. Okay. Okay. Yeah, not a valid. Blah blah blah. Who cares? Um. So now, yeah. So now when I render my routes, uh, I can render some funny tag. So I can say that I have strike tag here. And now when I parse stuff here, I can say that if x tag type equals strike, uh, yeah, so what exactly should happen? I mean, yeah, let's return something. Let's return something funny, right? So let's return a strike tag, but children are going to be hello. Yeah. So yeah, let me get rid of this stuff. Yeah. So you see that we had server rendered HTML at first, and then we added hello, and it's going to complain about us that server returned an empty string, but now we show hello. And so what we can do instead of hello, we can return counter, as well. Yeah, so we wrote the counter wrong, right? So we should be having children here. Okay, so JSX button as on click and children. Maybe this should be an array. Okay, I'll start something simpler. Okay, so what is undefined? Oh, I'm returning hello here. What is undefined or null? Okay, so could counter, yeah, could counter return just null. This is so confusing. Yeah, so if I call this, yeah, type is invalid. Okay, so if I hello, oh yeah, that's the tag. So the tag is div and the children is this. Okay, so can I return hello? Now if I return this, okay, invalid hook, which is understandable, yeah. Okay, okay, our hydration, fine. Okay, I'm so confused. This error doesn't make any sense for me. Okay, so let's go back to what works. So if counter returns just x, that is just hello. Okay, cannot convert undefined or null to an object. What object? What are you even talking about? Yeah. So, and if I just call a counter, so it shows hello, but obviously like the hydration error so, and so on. So this function works, but for some reason it doesn't work as a function. Uh, so if we go to TypeScript playground and we have some HTML happening, and we're going to say that we have something. What it will do is this. Should be using the new JSX thing. So yeah, I guess yeah, I'm not passing the empty array. Where am I not passing it? I think I am passing it. Okay, so yeah, so let's say that I want to return JSX counter and empty props. Okay, cool. I think it works. Um, so now if our counter would have returned strike tag with empty children, our hydration would have worked. And can we add state to that tag now? Yes, we can. And okay. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Yeah. So what is going to happen is that I want to add React use. Uh, yeah. I mean, okay. So let me add text first. So this is what server returns. It doesn't match with this anymore. So I have to add it here. Okay, I have too many else somewhere. Okay, so no hydration warnings. Um, so the funny thing is that our client structure could be whatever we want as long as it produces the same HTML. So this counter, it could be like a wrapper for some counter too, as long as that counter 2 returns this HTML that matches. We can call it here, and it will still work, right? So unfortunately, my like DevTools, they actually work now. I was just going to say that they don't work. Why would they start working suddenly? I don't know. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. But so now, basically, it doesn't matter how many of those like client components we have. So you see that like all of this thing is just HTML, but those are client components, and as long as it returns the same uh, HTML, it's fine. Which means that if we have some kind of, yeah, I can move it here, I guess. Yeah, and I can say uh, what do I want to say? I guess like is mounted. That is this is one of those things that would have been so much easier with uh, yeah, Copilot. Um, so React use effect, and I I set mounted true, and I do it on the first thing. So and then if is mounted, return JSX if I don't know, smiley face. Okay, so okay, we have some errors. Oh yeah, it's children. Yeah, my thing. Yeah, so we don't have hydration warning. I mean, we have, but it's not the it's not the big one, right? So the big one is when I'm returning something different. That's like, hey, you're doing something wrong. Um, so I do this, and this is like a different component now. So yeah, so I should probably do it the other way around. So I return strike in this case, and I return counter 2 in this case, and this is what I'm going to do in counter 2. Yeah, so we hydrated it, we waited for it to mount, and now it changed stuff. So what it could show is that it could show it should show account, and this could be a button, right? And this button could have on click. So um, And as you can see, we can go back to server. We can like get data from the server and stuff, but our client stays in the same state. Like we're not losing our counter, even though we're navigating to different pages. And yeah, so now I need to formalize this a bit. So the crazy thing that is happening, I mean, yeah, hmm, yeah. So what is uh I'm just trying to figure out the way that I can touch this. Um, so default implementation for our components is this, right? And I can say something like that: JSX equals this, and usually it's return JSX. But in case of this try component, I can uh, I can pass that JSX, uh, I guess, as a child. I mean, yeah, this way it's a bit more explicit. Uh, yeah. So in case of this try component, I gave this kind of like client wrapper the initial HTML, so that it can take that HTML and oh yeah, JSX is a bad name. Yeah, so let's do children. 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 Okay. Yeah, so I can do this. Okay, JSX is not a function. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Now this is a bad name. So JSON to JSX. I guess it's like a node, and this is the node. Yeah. So now I can go to Go component, and I can change this however I want, including like empty string, I guess. Yeah. So we have some placeholder basically, right? And that placeholder is replaced with a button. So what I could do is I could create a button as well. And if that button had a count 0, you wouldn't even notice when it became hydrated. Okay, so but it's interactive, and the interaction actually preserves the the state. Okay, the battery is dying, so I should turn it on. Blame. Uh, yeah, like I had in my mind that this is going to be like so much more complicated. Yeah. Okay, interesting that strike doesn't work on bottomless, I guess. Yeah. This hello is, yeah, has a strike, but this doesn't. Uh okay. Yeah. I'm not sure I want to keep it as strike. but it's just funny. Uh, yeah, it could be kind of like anything, right? So it could be like I don't know, strike me. uh, so right now this is not interactive, and if I go to this and I say strike me, now it's interactive. uh, yeah. So Astro has Astro Islands, right? Uh, where's the we have something in blog? Get process runs. Yeah, let's go process runs, and so it's Astro Island. Yeah, so it could be Strike Island. Okay. Uh, okay, and it's interactive. Yeah. By the way, I should use like a on because on Fly it sends through some kind of proxy. I don't really get the real IP address unless I do something else. Okay, someone sent something in chat. This seems like some kind of riddle that I need to solve. Uh, but yeah, my Fly deploys don't work right now, so it's maybe it's not that big of a problem right now. So okay, so let's figure out what is going on. And I guess let's figure out if I can make a commit out of this. So I added a counter. Yeah. So what is missing right now is some kind of like a way to actually uh, name a component. So this is like initial HTML that we're passing, which is fine. But uh, this part is like where we find what function to use is not that fine. And the problem with this is that we need to know all the client islands in advance and don't know I don't know how we can fix it. Yeah, so we could start with this. So this could be islands and it's going to be like all of them. And we have islands and so we import it as islands. And now uh, when I render this thing, I return props and I just return uh, what does what does Astro do again? They do component URL export. Yeah, maybe component export, and it's going to be counter. Okay. Now, do I do something like this? Uh, uh, islands. Uh, X props component export. So do I have that island? If no, I throw um, island uh, wasn't found, something like this, and we're doing yeah, we're doing something like this. Yeah, so our script didn't work because of the failed import. Uh, so we go to routes, we change this one. Does not provide default export. Okay, because we need to do star as. Okay, counter is not defined. Okay. Uh, okay, so now if I go back here and if I write wrong component export, and wasn't fine. Didn't uh, process. No, it's still an object. JSON string give. No, that's too much. Okay, island. Uh, okay, so I guess this is export name is this. Yeah. So if not export name, uh, uh, throw new error island uh, is missing component export prop, and if it's there, then we say that island doesn't exist. Okay, so island is missing component prop. Okay. Yeah, so island. Yeah, so now if I have a name but it's a wrong name, island counter doesn't exist. If it exists, it's there and it's interactive. Okay, this is not the greatest API ever, uh, but it's something. And we're like, but not generating this in Go in advance, right? But I can say counter two, and it's going to be interactive, but the mismatch is going to happen. So counter, yeah. Um, so that logic that we have in counter about like being mounted and mounted, this needs to be kind of like higher level logic, and yeah, so uh, so we call it strike island. So it gets children but it also needs to get uh, the whatever the thing was. We have debugger now. I'm so happy that we have debugger. Okay, was premature celebration. Yeah, so we have this thing as children state and hmm, okay, okay. So this is original children. I can expect children, I guess. Doesn't seem like such a good idea. Uh, hmm. Okay, let me figure it out. so, uh, so let's say I have a strike island. So the component that I want to render here is strike island, and I also want to pass uh, the island itself lower down, but I also to want to pass the export name, I think. Like it doesn't have to be, but it would be cool if it is. Now this logic goes into strike island. Yeah, so we import strike island from this, and we pass the export name. Okay, so now, okay, how do I how do I import myself? Can I import myself? So import as I islands from islands. Okay, so we have this. I can throw. Uh, Otherwise, I render this component when it's mounted. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, everything everything was destroyed. Okay, so island counter doesn't exist. So if I rename this, now it exists. And now it's interactive. And if I have counter to here, yeah, it crashes. If I have underscore here, yeah, interesting that it like fails in different ways because one of them is like in React rendering, the other is not, which I guess we will fix soon. But still funny. Okay. Okay. So things are happening, things are moving. We could introduce a function that is like uh, island. uh, yeah, as long as it gets component name as a string and and children as any. Next name and then branch. Okay, I was confused how this works, but and if it returns a component, then it could return h tag where component name is this and this is children, something like that. Okay. Okay, compile doesn't work. Next name to the name parameters. Okay, if I remove this, that works. If I go to age, it's rest any. Oh, yeah, it's children any. Okay, and what's wrong now? Too many arguments. Can code this way, I think. I think I fixed that. So it works. Now if I have island and it's called counter and it's it has this. Okay, now I have two independent counters. Both of them are working, right? Um, yeah, this is fascinating. So I can write here anything I want. So for example, I can write here loading, right? And what is more interesting, I guess, I can even where is my like title or something? Yeah, so since I have URL, I can do something like this. So if URL is slash, I can show island with loading. Oh yeah, I don't know if they support like ternary. How did they do it without ternary? Angle and ternary. Yeah, this is like sets the value, but what about returning the value? Oh, this is so stupid. Okay, yeah, this is even more stupider. Okay, I'm not a fan of any of this stuff. Okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, I guess I can do like island, and then I do, okay, how do I scope it? Maybe island is a component. Okay, so if this, then island is this. Okay, how is it going to work? Yeah, so loading and then other stuff. So if we go to about, it'll actually like crash because it's undefined, right? Yeah, so my age function should actually handle the case where it's not age function, it's a render to string function. Yeah, so render to string in case if component is nil, I guess. Huh. Okay, so it can't be nil. Okay, so it can't be nil, but when I do children here, I guess it's just, yeah, so if I do format print, format printf, yeah, so if I'm printing type, uh, and it's item type, yeah, so if I'm printing type, string, blah, 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 okay, it is a component. I guess it's a component where everything is nil, right? That's what's happening. Because I declare the value here. So it's like it's not an empty value. It's whatever. Yeah, it's just like everything is nil. Like all the fields are nil here. Maybe not nil, but just like empty string. Yeah. I wonder if that's the case. Okay. Yeah, but still. Okay. Okay, so it's map ID root. Okay, I don't know where to find it. So yeah, I guess this one, right? So it's empty string, empty map, and empty array. Okay, okay. So Galaxy Brain. So what's happening? Uh, so it's a child, but it's completely empty child. Where the error should happen? Should I just skip it, right? Because I can. Yeah, what is the time when I'm skipping it? Okay, so I'm here. Yeah, so it's going to be title and all that stuff. Div. Yes, it's tag empty props null and children null. Yeah, so I can't render this thing, but it's also like a valid component that could actually happen. Okay, I hate this like API design stuff that I have to do. Uh, but yeah, the idea is that or else island uh, is a counter that has each button. Yeah, so it's like a button, and I can write count in it, and I can write count 0 in it. So now the funny thing is that my initial state for this page and for this page is different. But once I'm on this page, it's like it's not going to actually do anything. And it's actually uh yeah, I'm actually curious. So what is happening in components? So I have this strike island when I navigate. Hmm. Yeah, I wonder why I'm not seeing any stuff that should happen. Yeah, so we create an island. Yeah, actually, this check should also probably happen inside. Um, yeah, so, so when I go here, I have export name counter. What if I add initial children or something like that? Yeah, so initial children. Hmm. I guess it's uh I guess it's like X. Yeah. I wonder if that's going to be better. Yeah. So initial children are loading, and here it's button, and now it's loading. Now it's button. Yeah, because it's not visible like here. I can't click on it. Uh, yeah. Maybe it's children's. Yeah. I don't know how I. I don't know how I should do that. Yeah. I guess like server props. So yeah. So this is server props, and this one has a button. And if I go here, it's loading. So we get new props for this component, but the way that it's written right now, like those props don't go anywhere because once the island is um, doing anything, it only sends, uh, it only starts the component, but we don't pass original props, but we should. Uh, Now the question is, in what way? So that island, I want to send some data to it, right? So I want to say prop. Yeah, I guess let's commit. What do we? Let's commit while we are ahead. So let's remove this. We have static URL of island. Yeah, island is probably all like a part of the framework now, but I'm not ready to move it there yet. Yes, now the yeah. So let's say that implement simple islands. Okay. Now, yeah. So now this is what is going to make them less simple. So I have props, and let's say I want to send some, I don't know, KP, right? So this is going to be R remote. Okay, where is it? Yeah, remote address. I don't know why I keep writing it as commas. This is like 100th time when I do it. Okay, so what's happening? This X type is invalid, expecting a string. Okay, so let's remove this for a second. Okay, so our prop is breaking stuff. Interesting. Why is it breaking stuff? Huh. Okay. Oh, I see. So our island. Oh no. Yeah, so we're losing the information because we're not doing this like props check. So if we would be taking props as props, then we can pass new here. So at least we don't have that map issue anymore. But how do I how do I use those props? Okay, this is probably it. So okay, I'm a bit confused at the moment, but uh, no, that's fine. So we have yeah, so we have those props, and we have that component export stuff, and so now in our island, uh, what kind of props are we getting? What is going on? Okay, so who is naming them server props? Okay, so I have yeah, but that child it already has those props as well. Okay, this is so confusing. I'm starting to think that I didn't pick the best API for all of this. Uh, but okay, yeah. So it would be cool if I didn't have to pass it twice. But if I don't pass it twice, I don't know how to get it later. So what I could be doing is I could be doing this. So just pass it as children. Then I have it as children. I can do dot props. So uh, I have children. And if I do children with props, it's all the data that we got. And so we need export name and some other stuff. I guess we only need the export name for now. So let's do this. Uh, okay, struck island is missing export name. Why? Oh, interesting. It's like written differently. Okay, but it's not crazy. Okay, it works. It's interactive. So so now so now the props. If I call yeah, if I call this component with those props, and I go to components, yeah, so now those props are here, and then I don't need to do any of that like initial thing anymore. As long as it's here, it works, right? So if I go to that counter and I say that I have an IP and it's like a b plus counter, okay, so I can have a state, yeah, so okay, let me think what's happening here. So p disappears, p appears, but why is it the same AP? Oh yeah, it has to be the same AP. It needs to be like a request ID or something. Where is it? Request. Yeah, request ID. Okay, I guess I don't use it anymore. How do I put it back? Yeah, so our forgot how were we using G? Go G West. Okay, I'm so confused. I think I got it from docs. The request ID. Okay. Now I don't know where to ship. Oh, interesting. There's a some kind of a real AP middleware. How do I use that? Yeah, I don't know. Sets request remove edit result of X forwarded blah blah blah. That should be okay. What about the request ID? Request ID middleware that request string in the form where number is blah blah blah. But like, how do I access it? This is silly. Uh, Let me just check. Maybe I can find code where I removed it. Yep. R context value. Yeah, this is not the easiest one to just guess. Okay. So is it working? No. What's not working about it? Oh, I forgot to run it. Okay. 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 So uh yeah, so we can do this. So we get some data that is updating from the server that we can use inside of the island. So this island has like both client state and the server state. Okay. This is much cooler than all of that next uh, invalidate stuff. And uh, yeah. Okay, so okay, that's I wonder, can we find how it's implemented? This request ID stuff. I have this, like, can I just go to implementation? Okay, it has some context and atomic serve with context and no function. Okay, middleware that injects. Okay, so create a context. I get. Okay, what is atomic? Sync atomic. Okay, what is atomic? It's like a fun thing to play around. Okay, so what are we using? we're using add uint. Okay, dynamically adds data, blah blah blah, address. So what is the address? To address and the value. Subtract constant values, particular document. Okay, so let's get what is the address. Okay, I'm thinking we're not getting an explanation what is the address. Uh, Effective dynamic operations or dynamic values synchronize additional dynamic operations use parallel behave. Okay, so yeah, so let's try this atomic stuff, and we're going to say that we have atomic, and then it's like test. Okay, it doesn't work, so it has to be set of integers. Okay, so if it's just like one, okay, it's not it. So how do I create atomic, I guess? Compare, swap, compare, load, store. New. This is so silly. Why is it so hard? Okay, so request ID. I guess, yeah. Okay, so what is going to happen if I do this? Where did you get request ID? What is request ID? Oh, it's just a value. Interesting. Oh, okay. Well, that's probably all that I needed, right? Yeah, okay. So let's say that it's like counter one, and then we just do this. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Five, six. Okay, so we have counter one and counter two, and we do it this way, and we say it's this. So I'm gonna go between them. Okay, and I can change this counter. Yeah, but those counters are separate. Okay. I'm not sure how to like put it in a demo so that it like makes sense. Uh, but it sounds funny. It sounds pretty funny to be honest. Okay. Oh, we have some mismatches. Okay. Okay. Is that because of our prop stuff? No, it's like empty. And this one is also empty. No, it was loading for a second. Okay. Okay. When did I break hydration? Uh, okay. So it was empty for a second. Uh, okay. Let's go to source code and count. Okay. So it's not rendering it for some reason. So yeah. So it's like Strike Island, and then it just stuck. Yeah, so there are like two issues. So one issue is that we don't report errors correctly, and so when we do render to string, this error is nil, but it's actually not, right? So when I do probably this, so this printf returns a string. Uh, how do I know when it doesn't work? So my feeling is that because those props are numbers, uh, it just fails somewhere. But the problem is that I don't know I don't know where we are failing to render it, and we are like not checking it. So let's go here. Um, or I guess maybe I can curl it. Yeah, so it goes. Uh, it starts doing island, and then it gives up, right? But it still continues with div. So when I do render to string of children, I guess I don't return from it. Okay, still nil. Okay, so title. Yeah, so I shouldn't be returning from it, but I should be checking from it in case of the error. Okay, and not convert prop ID to string. Okay, so this is the error, and it actually didn't write anything. Okay. And it's 503. Okay, so this is cool. Uh, Okay, so I guess when handler returns an error, yeah. Okay, so we fixed something that was an error for a long time. So now cannot convert this to string. Okay, so why can't you convert it? So you don't actually convert here. You just yeah. Okay, so I have this code. Let's chat GPT this a bit. Um, this act like Golang expert. Uh, in this code, it doesn't actually try to convert uh, numbers to strings. Type assertion. Yeah, it does type assertions, but I want to cast it, right? Yeah, I can check if it's an int. Okay. Right. So it used to be any string value. Okay. So let's do that. And um, yeah, this is like another full code. Okay, so I can switch on value. If it's string, do this. If it's that, do that. And string value. Okay, so yes, it returns an error. Yeah, so can I declare a value string? Okay, so cannot convert a D to string. Okay, so what is uh, type string? Okay, value uint. Okay, uh, cannot convert prop. Uh, uh, S, something like that. Will it work? Maybe, maybe not. Not string. Okay. So I need Golang format any type. Value in default format. Okay. One uint to string. Okay. Uh, this code doesn't work in case of uint. Yeah, this doesn't sound fun. Okay. Yeah, so we have an int, we'll try this. If we have uint, try this. Okay. Yay, it works. And those are different counters. Okay, this is fun. I guess let's check the kernel so that we can see the how does it actually send it. So we have an island, and this island, yeah. So it's a string here. It turns it into a string here, but in JSON, it actually sends it as a number, which I guess that's how it works. Uh, Still need to figure out. I still need to figure out how to like make a demo out of this. Yeah. So I guess we can create just like a second island. And what's the what's the trick? How are we going to do it? Yeah, I guess it was fun with not without having a second island. Uh, uh, what do I do here? Yeah, we're missing actions, so it's like it's not as fun. Uh, but still, yeah. So let's get rid of the second counter, and let's say that this one is server counter, and let's when do I want to increment it? Could be cool to increment it only as an action, but I don't have that technology yet. So let's say that we're only going to increment it on the about page, uh, but I can still show it uh, on the new page. Okay, so yeah, so it's undefined here. I need to call it differently here. Yeah, and the idea is that so it's like count and per count. Okay, the count, per count. Okay, so it's 0, 2, 3, and so on. And this is the journal count. I'm here. Okay. Yeah, so this sounds fine as long as I add plus e plus this. Uh, Something like that? No. Something like that? Also no. Okay. Golang um, int the string I to A. What is I to A? Okay, let's try that. Strconf. Okay, some kind of strconf. Why is it so hard? Why is it so hard? Okay. Uh, so it's C, but it's D. Okay, so let's go to about. Yeah, so this is server counter, this is a client counter. And we're not losing it, but we can increment it by going to about page. Okay. I think this is kind of like as close as we can get to this thing. What I could do, I could move all of this stuff inside of printf. Probably going to make a bit more sense. Okay. Okay, wrong repo. The atomic island counter, new counter. Remove this and simplify this. Remove this. Simplify this a bit. Yeah, so okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so this one is uh don't ignore uh errors when rendering children. So this one is allow numbers as props and implement fancy uh, island counter. Okay, now is the problem. So now it would be cool if because if I could have been a yeah, if I would be able to deploy. So if I do deploy uh, deploy, what's going to happen? Yeah, I broke it somehow. Like I haven't looked into how exactly I broke it. But yeah, my should also like add the link back from the website. Yeah, but all of my deployments been have been failing, and yeah, it's like, hey, I bet I can deploy first try. No, no, you didn't. And this one is like the error message is just it didn't start. It's like it's 504. What didn't start? How it was testing if it's starting or not. Like I have no information about that, right? And so the thing is, it should start this like uh, it should start this app thing. Okay, I think I actually fixed that. Let me restart the thing. Yeah, now I don't know if it's stuck or not. Why? Uh, how is it called? Agent. Restart. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually like starting this app, which is kind of like a duplicate of this, not this, but this one. And I don't know how to like start this one instead of that one. So I just don't understand how. Oh, what's happening? You can actually scroll through this thing. Interesting. Oh, did it work? Yeah. I don't know what I fixed then, but strike. Oh, nice. And that's actually like, oh, I guess I like dosed myself. Not dosed, but how do you call it? Doxed. Yeah. I think I doxed myself now. But yeah, and it works. Okay. Um, how do we set visited link color? Uh, from yeah, just find everything in history. Doesn't seem too fun. Okay, I guess we're stuck with those links. Um, okay, so let's make a bit of a demo, and and let's call it a day. I'm going for like almost 3 hours, which is like just for coding. It's kind of like too much. Usually, I like to talk about some stuff. Okay, so where do I start? Okay, so I want to make a bit of a demo of what I wrote so far. So this is a deployed version of my Go service, and I added this client counter so that you can click on this button and it will increment it, right? So if I go to DevTools, I can see this button. I can see uh, whatever like the state that it has, and if I click on it, the state increments. That's everyone kind of like seeing it. I don't do it SSR, so I mean I generate this text. Sorry, I generate this text on the server, but I don't generate this text. So it shows loading, and then it's an interactive client component that I can click around. Um, I also have navigation that does server components. So if I click on this page, this text is re-rendered on the server. I'm on the same AP, so it's like it's not going to change, but if it would have been changed, you would see the difference. But I don't know if you noticed, but this number is one now. uh, but uh, I don't exactly know why the numbers are different. Maybe I have like multiple instances running or something like that. But the main point is that client state have been preserved throughout my navigation, but like different servers return with different server state. If you go to this kind of like island, you see that there is a server counter, and there is actually like a server, like a different initial state. So for this one, for the about, it's going to be a button with that data. But for uh, okay, it's not getting good. Let me try to. Yeah, I'm so confused why the numbers on server are changing, and I guess like why aren't they changing locally? Yeah, this is not good. What's the total bundle size? By the way, your message before got deleted. I don't know how to like look at it. I think uh, if you have sent a link or something like that, it removes it. So bundle size right now is not great because I don't bundle it. If I go to JavaScript, it's probably like megabytes. Yeah, it's like 2 megabyte. Oh, I guess it's like extensions. How do I block extensions? Okay, let me open it in incognito. Yeah, it's like a megabyte. So the thing is that I download like unminified, like debug versions of React. But the so this is like the framework. So whatever that is, 1 kilobyte, and this is client components. So in this case, like this counter, which is like 600 kilobytes, but everything else is just React. So you just have to imagine that if you install new React, I think it's like 35 kilobytes gzipped. So 35 kilobyte gzip plus like this 1 kilobyte for the framework. So uh, yeah, I think like next.js is like 75 kilobytes. So that's like React plus all of the next.js stuff. So here I'm just sending React. Apart from React, it's going to be like just like 1 kilobyte. But yeah, uh, yeah, interesting. In incognito, everything is like not visited. Yeah, I wonder why I have two machines. Can I turn one of them off? Two machines. Yeah, I have two machines. Interesting. Uh, Machines. Uh, Learn more about fly machines. Firecracker Machines API. The management API. Okay, so fly IO uh, one machine. How to deploy just one machine. Fly scale count. This will default first deploy. Okay, so let's start with this command, I guess. So count uh, 1. So app is going to be scaled according to this plan. Scale, yes. Okay, destroyed machine. Okay. Okay, cool. uh, yeah. Uh, actually tried to build, yeah, going back to that bundle question, I actually tried to build the production catalog version of this with ES build, and I just didn't figure out how to do it. So I think I need, yeah, I need to find a way to do all of this stuff. Right now, I'm just using ESM modules and stuff, so that's why I have this wording. But yeah, I will figure it out eventually. So counter. Oh yeah, forgot to remove the counter. Console log counter. Okay, and yeah, didn't do this yet. Remove the bug log. Okay, we will also check if my deployments are actually back. Curious, I'm building a stack using SvelteKit H2Max Hyperscript and it waits at 202 kilobytes. Okay, so how do you measure that number? So the best way to measure this number is the following. If you go to web.dev slash measure, or I guess page speed, page speed web.dev, and you put your thing there, uh, it will measure it in more raffinated or whatever slow whatever the thing is, refined. I don't know. So it will measure it, and you will have this like view tree map. So once you click on this thing, it will show you the as accurate as possible for like your users, basically, like not in your machine. It's like this is how your website looks on the internet. So this is like unminified developer version of React. This is like all of that stuff, and like the teeny tiny, the teeny tiny portion of no, all of this is still React. Where is not React? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like it's like their own scale or something. It will not actually like show where is not React. Uh, so React islands. Okay, so like 1 kilobyte, 2 kilobytes. Interesting. I'm probably not gzipping those things to the end. Do I have to like? Do I have to do something special to do gzip? So content encoding gzip. No, it's actually gzip. Yeah. So where's the size? Where's the content length? No cache. And again, it could be cached, so it's like all the headers are kind of like wrong. Yeah. So what's the size? Okay, so it's 1 kilobyte gzip and 2 kilobyte ungzipped. and the islands is 1 kilobyte total and 600 gzip. It scored a 93. Yeah, so the score is uh yeah, score is like the easiest way to think about score. If it's more than 90, you don't have to invest in it. It's kind of like good enough. For most websites, the biggest impact on the score is going to be like images or stuff like that, or like in this case, right? It's like I didn't do any SEO tags. I don't have like all the kind of like accessibility things and all that stuff. So it's like it's not like the performance is the issue. So with HTMX, for example, you will get a bit uh, you will get a bit of problems with performance because if you're using HTMX from CDN, right? So it's like, oh, it's so easy. I will just add a script, but it's like it's not uh, minified. It's like all of that stuff. Maybe it is actually. I haven't looked into it, but if you will like install it from npm and instead of like putting a script tag, you will like import the script. Your bundler will like work on it and bundle it in your application and some gzip savings and all that stuff. You will probably be better off. Um, so like in this case, right? I'm downloading from internet as well, so it's going to be slower. It's going to be like a bigger delay compared to like executing one file where it doesn't have anything asynchronous. But anyway, inline. Do I have inline? Oh yeah, that's like hydration data, right? I have hydration data inline, and all of this is like just React stuff. And I have 2 kilobytes of I have 1 kilobyte of like client components, uh and I have 2 kilobytes of framework. Which again, I haven't run through the bundle and all that stuff, so it will become smaller. Uh, but yeah, yeah. So SvelteKit is not big. It's I think it's like 5 times smaller than React or something. Like Svelte is one of the smallest ones. So like Svelte and Solid, and I presume that SvelteKit is like also pretty small. So HTMX and Hyperscript, you should check. Uh, you should check what you're doing in terms of like, are you just getting it from CDN or are you embedding it? Because like this number, right? So it's like 1 megabyte. That's gzip numbers. So I don't remember if you can like, yeah. I think it always shows gzip. Uh, so it's going to be like, yeah. You just have to keep in mind that like you always have like every resource has two numbers, and yeah, uh, yeah. Just like look at this thing. You don't have to run it through the website. You can where is it? I can go to Lighthouse and just run performance check, and it will eventually, with time. Oh, I'm doing it localhost. Oops. Okay, so you go here. Oh yeah, you do it in incognito because otherwise you will get all of those like extensions uh, running. But the problem is running it locally is that your computer is probably like much faster than like the average internet computer. So like yeah, so you saw that I had 90 something on uh, web.dev, but here I have 100 just because like my internet is good and my CPU is faster. Or maybe I'm using like desktop. But anyway, well, I was going to just to show that you can see this like view 3 map here as well. So if you're doing like some local changes before deploying it, you can check it there. But you need to deploy it and you need to see like the real values if you want to compare it for real. Uh, yeah. Anyway, so I will try to. Oh yeah, this one doesn't have DevTools. I guess I can just turn on DevTools. Uh, React Developer Tools, manage extensions, and allow incognito. Yeah. Okay, but it's not showing up here. What is going on? Yeah, not good. Uh, it's all served locally using a bound adapter. Make it fast. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so we have fixed this thing, and have some extensions here. Those extensions are getting in the way. Okay, let me turn off that extension maybe now. Yeah, I want to do this demo, and I just don't know how I'm going to do it. So let's go back to routes, I guess. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. Not a fan of how the code looks. Not that easy to show what is going on. Okay. Now I want. Yeah, surprisingly, like, yeah, Go syntax is pretty ugly, and I don't know how to fix it. And okay, and I have this thing, right? So I wonder if I do this, will look a bit nicer. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I wonder what's your thinking on like how SvelteKit and HTMX kind of like do they compete? Because in HTMX you can use like HX boost links and stuff, so it has its own router and stuff. And yeah, I wonder if that's that's like a thing that you have to think about. Okay, okay, so let me do this demo again. Okay, DevTools have died. Not great. Okay. Uh, okay. Okay. So I want to show a bit of what I'm working on. So I have this kind of like hyperscript inspired syntax for. I have an HTML page that has a head, and that head has a body, and this body is a div with ID, root, and so on, right? The fun part is that things like this, right? So URL, so my page is slash is generated on the server. The remote address, right? The IP is what we get from like headers on the server and all that stuff. But then I have this island, which is a counter component, which I defined here. And this counter component, I can pass server props to it. So in this case, I'm passing just a number that just kind of just a counter that goes on the server, and I can also pre-render some data on the server to match it, or I can just show a loading screen. It's just like two versions of the same island, just to show different approaches. So if I'm on the home page, I see loading first, and then when it's hydrated, I get client component. So you see that like the server counter has been preserved, but the client counter is reset. And if I go to DevTools, I can see this island, and I can see this component. So if I go to state, and if I click on it, that's the state, right? So now something interesting is happening. I go to about, server counter has increased. You can see that's like a 15 now, but the local state has been preserved. And I got this URL and like IP address from the server. So like this text was re-rendered with the data from the server. And you can see like how this information got to me as this JSON. So this is like, uh, yeah, it's like too small, but all of this uh, all of this was sent as kind of like React Server Components payload, and I was able to see the new stuff. So my client state is preserved. I can get server updates when I do navigation, and I have two strategies for islands. So this one is rendered on the server to match what I have on the client. Like when I hydrate, it looks like it's like a regular SSR. With this one, I just show loading. So I'm doing a bit of like duplication of logic, right? So I have to make sure that this string that was rendered on the server is the same as it's going to be rendered on the client. Otherwise, it's just going to kind of like jump around. Uh, but yeah, so what we've got is React Server components that are data is driven by the Go server, and we can still write client components, which I don't do SSR for client components yet, but you can kind of like work around it, right? So it's like you can add some kind of like nice animation or whatnot. Okay, so I will try to clip that into like a separate video. Okay, so let me read what you wrote. It's passing data between Svelte and HTMX. Yeah. Is your island strategy React centric, or can I use the same pattern as well? Yeah. So this is the interesting part. This is what I uh, this is why I got this. This is why I got this tweet from Rich Harris. Okay, so to JLRK, why are you like this? So 350 likes. uh, this is the post that I sent, right? So it's like, what what will make you switch from Svelte? And some people are saying, some people are trying to look unbiased, and they try to say, oh yeah, if something is better than SvelteKit, I will for sure switch to it. But it's like, okay, solid start is out, and like no one switched yet. um, so they try to be, I don't know, they try to say that they are looking for a better framework, but the main reason is Svelte server components. No one in Svelte ecosystem wants to like play with that, wants to see them like developers playing with that. It's like they just don't want to touch Svelte server components like at all. And I'm actually optimistic. I think it will like eventually happen. My thing is SvelteKit is just like Svelte version of Remix, and once Remix has server components, maybe Svelte will have to like look into it, right? Because they have like a kind of like feature priorities with Remix, and if Remix goes into server components, maybe Svelte needs to do it as well. But a lot of people just like hate server components in Svelte. And there are like actually some issues of trying to implement server components with basically like any other framework except for Preact. So you need to have, I mean, you don't have to, but it's like it's so much easier to implement it with having the virtual DOM. And I think like this combination of like Svelte community just like hating Svelte server components in advance, and the technical challenge of like it's not going to be exactly server components unless they have like a better pattern than server components. They will probably not move there. And I only kind of like started playing with server components, right? So like I don't have like all the answers. I mostly have questions, and from my experiments, I don't know like all the patterns with React yet. So I have like no idea how that like any of those patterns are going to work out in other components, in other like types of frameworks, which Solid Start works a lot on this. So I'm just like waiting for Server Star to do something for this. But they're too busy right now with like publishing 1.0, so they might kind of like ignore this for now. But yeah, React Server components need to happen outside of Next first. So it's like Remix or something else like need to support it. And I think Redwood already started like a preview version or something like that for React Server components. So like it will happen pretty soon. So like Remix Server components needs to happen. Solid Start needs to add like solid server components that are going to work kind of like differently than React Server components. And then after all the dust is settled, Svelte can kind of like pick up the better patterns and say, hey, we invented this new thing, as they did with like everything else before. uh, yeah. Yeah, so in some sense it's actually like HTMX is like a way of doing something like that. So I think like you're maybe like on the right track. I was just like trying to figure out uh like those new patterns of just like yeah going to the server because a lot of people are just like, do we do nested layouts, do we do like some sort of caching like React query does. So yeah, I think there are like too many questions right now, not a lot of answers. But yeah, I'm doing this just to do some kind of like how do I say it? Just to make some kind of like educational material of like this is how server components could work. This is like the basics of the principle, and this is how they're different from island architecture, for example, right? So like I call them islands, but it's not technical islands because in island architecture you don't have that kind of like um, routing in between. I mean, you do now in Astro with like view transitions, but it's not completely the same. So yeah, okay. I think I'm going to call it a day. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Like and subscribe. Check my Twitter. Uh, because uh, uh, yeah, I'm doing some important stuff. Like even Rich Harris notices that I do it, and yeah, and uh, I don't know. Give me a star on this thing. I think it's probably on my, yeah, it's on my like a year ago, this page was just like my Erlang stuff, and now like everything is like JavaScript. And uh, yeah, this is like a funny setup, like TypeScript, JavaScript, Astro, Go, and Erlang. uh, yeah, those stars are fun. Uh, yeah. So yeah, I would have asked for your like link for your stuff. You can't send that in on YouTube, so send it to me on Twitter or something. YouTube doesn't like links. It would be cool to see what you're trying to do. Yeah, and I think that's it. And yeah, thanks everyone. And yeah, please people subscribe to my YouTube because I need 1,000 subscribers. Otherwise, I'm like not getting a lot of the YouTube features. Yeah. Okay. Bye.